All right, good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital Nightly Strategy Podcast for December 14th, 2021. Susan, I see you on tonight. You had asked, now that you're coming to the end of the foundations course, next steps like in January, and you asked me about swing trading. And so this is what I would say for you and for any other folks in the sound of my voice for foundations that are looking to go to the next sets of courses. This is what I'd say. I wanted to check to see if you feel that you're locked in for all the lessons of the foundations course before you go into the other technical pieces. And so this is what I was thinking before you go into swing trading. I started thinking you need to do like a graduation exercise or a demonstration of your learnings from the foundations to lock those in. So that we can both feel satisfied that we're not rushing onto the next thing before we've gotten to closure on the foundations. And then it occurred to me that, the script that Luke and Ken H did for this research weekend was really well done and removes all doubt if they're ready for the next thing to do, whatever that may be. Now, what I would also say is that their briefings are the culmination of 18 to 24 months of intense, like master's degree level of work and effort. And so I'm not looking for you to, to duplicate their work. So what I would say is something more like a blue belt test, which is, this is what I think it needs to be, is like a 7-minute or a 15-minute briefing or so, something like 7 slides. And the 7 slides would be these. First would be the background, where you were at your baseline prior to the start of the course, and then listing the best parts about the course for you and why, where you think the best learning was for you. The second slide would be, what were the biggest challenges that you overcame and how did you overcome those, and what did overcoming them teach you? This builds in the notion of efficacy and agency, that the expectation is that when confronted with adversity, that you have the resources that you need to be able to get through it. So how did you fight your way through it or go around it or whatever? The fourth thing would be itemizing the best takeaways. And then I classify the best takeaways as the things that resonate with you very strongly and are immediately useful, that allow you to make a difference right away. They're not always the best things, and it may not have been a challenge, but it's the artifact that really resonates and allows you to ramp up. The next one would be like remaining open questions. What are your questions for further study? What is it that you feel like you still need to be working on? Now, it may be that you can move on to the next course, but that there are some things that you want to carry forward and continue to your work. So you don't have to get to 100% closure on every single thing before you ever move on. There can be some things that are part of a longer term plan that you simply decide to carry forward. And then what would be your plan to address those gaps? And again, that builds agency inside of you. The next one, slide 6, would be, I think, an important one also. What was the biggest surprise in the course for you, or surprises? Why was it surprising? And then what did you do with the surprise? What action steps did you take to investigate or to apply or to shift your beliefs? And how did that go? And what are you doing about it now? And then the last one would be that conclusion that documents where you are now at the end of the course and what your next steps for self-study and development are, your action plan going forward, if you will, with accountability. I like that idea so much that I'm going to just make that part of the foundations course now, the individual final report, And I think it's good enough that we sort of standardize that. I think I see Ken and Luke in here. So take a look at the things you guys did for that purple belt test. That looks like the standard to me, because you went even a little deeper. You guys looked at the transformations that you had made. You included histograms and analysis of trades and a discussion of the trade log and trade journal. So I think you actually went further than those 7. So this would be, to me, that first structured after action review after the foundations course, and it kind of prepares you for that long haul of doing the work that Luke and Ken H did. So Susan, if that makes sense to you, go ahead and consider those things. And then I would say after you do those 7 steps, you'll know if it's time to go into the swing trade course or not. That's what I would say. I personally would recommend that you post more charts in here with the lessons that you have learned already from the foundations, because what you're going to see is that the swing course is using the same patterns in many ways as the patterns that are in the foundations course. So if you lock those in now, that's just going to make you a better swing trader. And like I said, it'll get you to closure on the foundations course. So that's my thoughts on that. Let me know what you think. All right, let's move on to the markets today. And those of you that are playing along with the protreptic coaching course, where I'm getting my brain strained with Jens, I posted the video in the foundations, or in the protreptic course for you, and you get a chance to see me getting beat up, by my coach. So it's not just a one-way street. Eat my own cooking when it comes to working with my coach. So I wanted you guys to see me getting beat up and struggling with things too. And I thought today's session was really good. It had to do with ethical decision making. And I think the combination of the previous session and this session, the previous session on duty and identity, and this one on ethical decision making, is pretty strong. Yeah, I like Ken H's idea about start with one frame and one trade each week, get into that discipline, between now and the rest of December, and then that'll tell you if you're ready to begin. Because that's what I'm going to demand that you do during the swing course as you're going through that every week you're posting one swing frame and one closed trade with analysis, so that you can start building those muscles. And again, that's the number one thing you can do to improve your skill anyway. So let's get on with that. All right, so let's see where we are here. So yesterday we talked about the potential for a collapse out of that yellow zone, and that's what we got today. I classified today as a red, kind of a red zone, red candle, because it rejected that previous consolidation area. It showed a big gap down. It gave us some doji-like action in the sense that the close and the open were practically the same. Now it's larger than we typically say a doji is, but in fact, this is actually a very good sign for short-term traders, that this thing is red hot and once more in a critical state. And why do I say that? Well, because there was no clear winner. They fought to a draw today, the open and the close, and there was a large tail in both directions, meaning that there were times when the bulls were winning and the bears fought them back to the 50-yard line. And then there were times when the bears were winning and the bulls fought it back to the 50-yard line, to end with a moment of tension right there at the spine of the dragon. And that's as doji as you want right there. This is a market that is absolutely poised to go in either direction. And again, there's a large move available in both directions. There is a tactical move to the top of today's range, which is where I would start picking up 2 positions on the long side, and I'd hold those 2 until it broke out above the RL 270. I think it gets well out of the river and clears that price right there. That's where I would pick up the third entry right there above 471. And then to the downside, it's clear that, the first move down to the Z1, southern edge of the river, which is also the southern skin of the dragon. And then that's where I'd be picking up 2 positions short, all the way down, I think, to like Z at Z -2 is where I would pick up the third entry. So I think this is what I would look like right here. Because then you would have 3 positions short as you were coming in on the 5% sell-off, from the swing high. That's what a 5% correction approximately looks like. And then if it breaks down below the 30-day low, well, then that's just Katie bar the door, and it's going beyond Z3 and then disaster. Right. So that's what this market looks like to me, poised right in the middle of this consolidation zone, the maximum indecision with increasing volatility. That's a perfect recipe for sharp moves coming out of today's closing price. So I would be putting, again, about a 50-cent bracket around the open with no directional bias and ready to follow price wherever it goes. Now, if there's a gap, the bigger the gap, the better the intraday move is going to be, because we know that the size of the gap correlates to the size of the move, but not the direction of the move. So today there was a big gap, and there was a strong move up and a strong move down, and then a strong move back up. Well, that's beautiful for intraday trading. That gives you a lot of travel distance and opportunities to play the turning points with the SSCs and the COTA 2s and the RLXDs and so forth. So we want to be ready for more of that tomorrow, not less. All right, in chat, let me know if that helped. Next up. So today we had the S&P was down 0.67. Then a cluster of outperformances here. They all lost money, but some were a little bit better. The diamonds, emerging markets, and treasuries were all only down about a quarter, whereas the Russell continued to underperform, minus 0.8, and then the Qs full 1% sell-off. So everything was suffering today. Let's take a look at the sectors that outperformed. So blockchain, commercial real estate, and materials up to minus 0.1. Then you have agriculture was flat. Staples were fractionally better. Finance, Mexico, VIX, all up bigger, 0.6 to 1.4. Then Bitcoin, 2.5. Now the cluster of the cryptos, put that in that radioactive purple. To indicate Bitcoin, to indicate cryptos. And now the outperformers, it's all our favorite metals. There's Alcoa, 5.6, US Steel, 3.5, Cliff, 1.64, Tex was flat. So really strong outperformance by all our steels. Coinbase, 1.8, PayPal, 0.23. So that's really tomorrow's momentum plays, is to more follow through on the metals and the cryptos. You know, today was the first day of recovery after significant emotional distress in the cryptos, with Bitcoin off 20% from the high, and Musk talking smack on Bitcoin. Well, the senators, are Democratic senators, are now think he's the enemy. The one guy that's in a position to restore America's role in manufacturing and technology leadership, they can't wait to play class warfare with him. This is the sign of the American empire just eating itself. All right, underperformances, FANGs, 0.29, energy and S&P discretionary down 0.58. Then you have ARC Genomics, 0.83. Blended commodities, 0.9. Brazil oil, down 1%. ARC Innovation off 1.14. Lumber, 1.15. Moonshot's lithium, the other lumber, 1.6. S&P Tech, 1.64. That's a discouraging sign for the conservative large cap techs, you know, when they're getting smashed. XOP oil exploration, 1.77. S&P bio, 1.8. Marijuana, wheat and precious metals, 2.1. Robinhood, Microsoft, and then clean energy off 3.14. The underperforming targets: Microsoft, Robinhood, and Squarespace, 2.7 and 3.2. Devon Energy, along with the rest of energy, down 1.75. Virgin Galactic, 1%. Tesla, Apple, and John Deere. So even the bellwethers were getting smashed today. So it looks to me like metals and cryptos tomorrow. I think, you know, finance is really trying hard. We noticed from this weekend that, you know, the finance on a relative basis had bottomed out and was starting to slowly improve, while the other ones were slowly failing, like tech and energy. So it may be that there's some room here in finance for some joy. All right, let's take a look at the chat room. Guys did some amazing work today. I mean, really amazing. Let's see here. What do we have? We're going to start with this is John M. And we're looking at, let me get my pen here. So this is a Bitcoin, a tethered Bitcoin on 2-minute charts. And he's bringing in 2.8R today. That's pretty nice work. We will spend time looking at the 1, 2, 3 entries today. Here is a potential 1, 2, 3. So we have a gap up, pull back, holds at the VWAP and resumes. That's a tradable move. this double top here in the RL10 is nice. And the dragon rolling over in the fall, nice entry. And this rejection, it penetrates the VWAP and comes right back up. That is such a great exit, because if this was going to fail, it was going to fail down to the RL270 and the gap up opening, but it didn't. It reversed instead. So don't stick around. It's over. It breaches for a moment. So now you have this RL10, you have this lower RL10. And if you're just using the dragon, the high of the dragon, the peak, and then the next lower high, that's got K2 written all over it, which means that you can get this right here at the PSAR dot with a limit order. And then you'll make an extra little piece right there by getting it short here instead of here. This is still really good because you're getting short above the VWAP and playing for the rebound. Now, this is a 1, 2, 3 recovery exit right there, but I actually want you to start keeping 2/3 of that. When you have a move that comes out of a Z3 pinch and comes all the way down to the RL270 and starts to reverse, just get paid. And then when this RL10 makes another lower high, you can get short right in here instead of waiting for this. This is still pretty good because you're getting short on the north side of the RL270. But now you have a 1, 2, 3 exit would be here, and you're going to get paid more on that trade. Instead of 0.23, you get 0.5. And again, this thing pushed the Z3 boundary and then started to reverse. Keep half, or a 1, 2, 3 entry, or 1, 2, 3 exit, I should say. Instead, that's still getting paid. You're getting paid to learn. Now, this one has a low, went to the Z3. Here's a 1, 2, 3 entry would be here. But I like that you wait for the crossing of the dragon. You could actually get long here on the PSAR when price crashes through the PSAR, because you had that size of a move already. So you could actually get long here, but that's really nice. Now it gets through the VWAP. I'd be tempted to add a position here. Now this thing gets up to the Z3. It tests the previous swing high, starts rolling over, and you let that come back pretty far. So instead of 2, that could have been 3. Now, I love this. When this comes over and rolls over, and now you have a lower high in the RL10s, that's another COTA 2. This is where you want to be short. That's nice. Oh, don't lose money on that one. That one had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 moves in your favor, and that was probably +1 R. And we let that come back to 0.14. I'm looking at, keeping half, like right there. I like this effort because you have a swing low and it's trying hard. You got to maybe cut this as it comes through the dragon in the winter here instead of here. Then that's a good short. You're getting short on the north side of the VWAP. Now, look how much we gave back again. We're giving back too much. This should be your entry, not this one. So get it down here and then get long there. Then this pays off. Good short, good long, good long. That's a reasonable loss. So there was some grind in here. This one, you probably got conditioned to get paid. When this one doesn't fail through the dragon, but immediately takes off, you can get that on the rebound right here instead of here. And then that scratches instead of losing. instead of losing 0.63. So in my view, there's about 5R available by tightening up the shot groups. And maybe it's on 2 minutes, so this shouldn't be a time pressure for you. But there's 5R on the table, just with attention to detail. But that's a really good good start. And then I would say, oh yeah, trade the Aussie US dollar, guys. 15-minute chart. Look how orderly this is compared to that last circus. Look how that thing turns. There's your RL10 crossing the baby dragon outside of the floodplain. Oh, that's such a long right there. And you trade that up to the crossover right where the VWAP says it's supposed to fail. Oh man, how good is that move? And then it rolls over here with a lower high, and there's a PSAR flip, perfect short. You could even have gotten a second position here. This is the 1, 2, 3 on a 15-minute chart. So this is bar 1. That's bar 2 because it's a higher low. And now your 1, 2, 3 exit cover is here instead of here. And that's an extra half an R. Beautiful reentry and reversal and entry. I think we could have done better on this. I don't mind it. Maybe here. But that's pretty good. This one, we stuck around too long. And then that's about where I'd be looking to get long. But that's a pretty good day at work on 15-minute bars. Look how orderly that is. And that's with only getting one position in. Bill Scheidt. Swing trade with the PSAR flip. So he does what Bill Scheidt does. Follows his rules. You know, here was the PSAR, and then here's where it flips. So it's on the north side of the dragon, so he buys it like he's supposed to, and he just follows the and exits. Now he knows I'm going to yell at him for giving that much back, and he's just going to say, well, I follow my rules, and there's 3.75. I'm also going to say that on this Z3 expansion, that's a possible second. This one is a possible third. So is that one. When this rolls over and you can't make new highs, and this makes a new low, I want to be out right here for a fractional improvement. But dude, keep following your rules. Keep taking the heat. PSAR flip on a swing trade. Global carbon strategy. This is a really nice ETF that plays carbon. And again, really nice setup work from the R Factory. Beautiful chart. Fun to trade. Trading is fun. Wojcik, welcome aboard. Making it look easy. This is in the S&P minis, and he's on 5-minute charts. Smooths it out quite a bit. Perfect entry on a lower high, and he's playing the breakout. This is almost like a Z3 pinch breakdown. This is actually a super pinch, my friends. You have the RL 90, the 270, a 30 and the 10 and a pinch. There's our breakdown. Second position, covers, stop and reverse. When you get this much up here to the far side of the river and it starts failing, do not let that winning trade become a losing trade. Not acceptable. That thing was, here was your risk box. That thing was 1, 2, 3, almost 4. And we let that become minus 0.58. Never let a 4R trade lose money. Hey, Ken, when should I allow a 4R trade to lose money? Never. Not ever, not never. Now, I like this short because now you're playing for a big breakdown. It reverses, you get out. That's a good exit. Now, when it comes back through the dragon, I'd like to see you get short right where you did before. That's a slight improvement. This is where you could get a second position, which would have scratched. This is good management all the way down. I like this one. I want to see your exit instead of being here. I'd like to see that in here, just a couple bars earlier. The price difference is not that much, but if this is going to work, this is supposed to go back up to the RL 270. The fact that it didn't is information, so don't stick around. Now, this is a beautiful entry. Now, again, I'm going to say, look, you're beyond Z2, and here's a 1, 2, 3 exit. Don't let that, you gave back half, right? So the maximum favorable excursion was this. You gave back that much in order to respect the stop. That was such a nice move. Use a money management stop. Keep more of a winning trade. All right. So I really want you to get much, much better. So that 5.6, that should have been over 10. But that's a really good alignment with the big directions of the day. You caught every big move and took good shots on the other ones, but there's some money management stuff that you got to get on board with. Don't let a 4R trade go negative. Just saying. That's a good problem to have. All right, here's 10R in XRP USD tethered on a 5-minute. Supported spring crossing, executed perfectly with a sniper exit. Perfect. When this rolls over in the RLXD, perfect. Perfect. This is one where, look, we're pushing Z3. This thing ran up. This was a bigger move to the upside than this one. This one had 1, 2, 3, almost 4R, and we let that come back to 1.56. So we were plus 4, and we let it come back to 2.5 to net 1.5. We gave back 60% of that move. Don't do that. Get paid up in here. This is a good effort on the short side, good exit, good reentry to the downside. Now, look, it came down to the 270 and then did not fail further. Now you get a 1, 2, 3. Get that here instead of here. This is a good effort on the short side. This is a good stop and reverse. And again, look at this. You're beyond the edge of the river, and we let that winning trade go negative. Do not let an above average win go negative. That was, if that's your risk, that's 1, 2, 3R in hand, and we let that be a negative trade. Don't do that. You gave back 4 here, and you gave back 3 there. That 10 should already be 17. good shot, good shot, good try, and then crushing it. So your losses are small, your wins are big, and now we've got to just tighten up the gift. That should have been 17 today on that one. Nice work. I mean, seriously, nice work. That's getting paid to learn. And proof that you don't have to have, 1 minute madness on your charts. All right, here's Cliff. All right, here was the close of the day yesterday. Gap up and go. He just gets it, and that's 1, 2, 3, and gives back just enough. That's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, reasonable second position. When you have cleared, yesterday's hump by that much, why not? I like the effort. I like the quick exit. I'd like to see you get short just a little bit sooner, but that's pretty good. That's very good, because now you're playing for a violation of the Z3 pinch with 2 positions in the money, and you're already past the VWAP and it's failing. Finally, a 1, 2, 3 exit. Be still, my beating heart. That's what I want to see. And you're taking my advice about not working to get the third position in, but really concentrating on quality exit on the 2 positions. Correct. That was the coaching point we made last weekend. Good shot. Yeah, minus 0.1 on a perfect world, you get a plus 0.1. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's great. And notice how much better it is that you're not giving back that much on 2 positions, especially when the second position was already just scratching. So that makes, if you'd have put that second position on and then given back that much, that would have been more painful. But that looks like a pretty efficient exit. Good scratch, good capture, good scratch. 7. Nice. We've seen worse. 2 blue stars. IWM for 4. That's pretty good. A 3-2 coin flip that pays 2-1. Yeah. So notice the gap down, and then this acts like a big red candle. This acts like a big red candle. And so now when that turns and you get a 1, 2, 3, you can actually get long in here. That's a really good entry. That's like a frog box off the bottom. Gets the second position in. If you're going to do that and then it runs up here, you cannot let that thing go negative. You cannot let that go negative on the second position when you had twice as much gain to the upside, right? So this is a -3. That's a minus 0.3. And that was plus 0.6. Now remember, that's on 2 positions. That means that give back from there to there was minus 1.2 on a 1.1 trade. You gave back half of that trade on this position. What I'd rather you do is don't even put the second position on and have a better exit, and you to come out of there with 1.7 instead of 2 trades that were 1.1. So trade less, keep more, if you're going to do that. All right. All right. Good reentry. Now this one gets up to Z plus 2. At least scratch that thing. Then this is a good, you wait for the PSAR flip, second position, reasonable. Now this one got paid on the second position. That makes a difference. Good shot that neutralize each other. A couple more good tries, grinding along. This one pays for those two, and then you get another paycheck in there. So pretty good. 4. I think that should have been 6. I think there was about a 2R differential in there. So we got to tighten up that efficiency. And you're working on 2 symbols. So a little bit more work to do, as you're noticing. So I want you to monitor your energy level. What I would say on that, Luke, is the second position on each trade is like a second trade. So now you've got 2 positions, you got 2 symbols, and you're getting 2 shots on each one. That's like 4 levels of effort, whereas before you were kind of doing 1. So watch your energy level until you get accustomed to making that quicker exit decision on 2 symbols. It can be trickier flipping from one to the other. So I almost want to say, monitor your energy. If you feel yourself getting a little stressed and dissatisfied, that would be an indication that you've taken on too much. And I would back off a little bit. I would keep it with 2 symbols, but maybe just concentrate on perfect execution on one position until that feels natural, till you're getting back and forth on 2. Or if you're going to pick one to put 2 positions on, just put it on cliff and then learn how to do IWM with 1 position and then grow into that, to that increase, right? All right, here's one on IWM on 2 minutes. This one is Stephen. Let's see, where's my annotator? There it is. Yeah, so the question, could you have gotten long here? Yes, for the same reason on the last one, that big gap down acts like a big red candle. So now when that thing bottoms out and fails to fail further, you can play a frog box off the bottom, and now you can get long here, a second position here. Now I'm going to say the same thing I've said to these other guys. You got outside of the river and it rejected yesterday's bottom skin of the dragon. And then look how much you gave back. That's a full standard deviation. Too much. So you only came out of this with a small trade when you gave back 2/3. That would have been more painful if you'd gotten 2 positions in and gave back that much. Good effort on the short side. I like the rapid reversal. Again, this thing got to Z2 and it came all the way back to scratch. So you got to take that here and keep half. Good short at the PSAR drop. Great exit. Good shot on a supported spring crossing. It didn't do that. So you could get short here, but I know you said you were away from the desk, but that's a place you can get short. That's a place you can get short. That's a place you can get short. Here's a Kata 2. Yeah, I know you're away from the desk, but you want to see the patterns. There's your PSAR, your runaway PSAR move, which would have exited somewhere around here, and then long here, and then perfect capture. Pretty good stuff. There's some room for improvement. We probably gave back 3 more. There was probably +3 that was given back due to, I think, kind of like inefficiency and believing in the trade, waiting too long. Use money management and keep half of a good trade, just as a rule of thumb. You aim for 2, but you'll keep a half. So that's a good rule of thumb there. All right, nice work on the boys today. Let's go to Oh boy. Bullish volatile, weakening across the board. Risk Z is starting to give us some insights, potential upside, but again, critical state. Lots of dojis today, handful of good auto framers, a number of legit 5DDs to work with here, including Boeing. I like Boeing because it's been so bad for so long. Yeah, so that has some potential. Oops. ETFs mostly in dojis today. Tons of auto framers setting up well. Read and heat. And I like Mexico being strong on a day when most everything was down. And the same with finance. That's the anomaly. Lots of good auto framers. Intel, 4.5 to 1. I like emerging markets, and XLY is setting up for the fanboys in Tesla to take advantage. I like Brazil and treasuries as well. Johnson & Johnson, Walmart, and Procter. So it's all these staples are doing really well. And just the staples were the only sign of life between there and treasuries. Everything else is starting to look really weak. On the 2-day and the 10-day starting to look weak. All right. That's everything we got for today. Let's get this published and posted, and we shall see you ready to rock tomorrow.